I'm going to call this meeting to order. It is 7:08 PM, Wednesday, June 23rd. This is the Swampscott School Committee regular session. The public will be able to, the school committee and the superintendent will be in person, along with members of the superintendent's staff. The public will be able to attend virtually, both through cable recording as well as on YouTube. We are experiencing some difficulties with our Zoom right now, but there will be a clean recording available. This is all related to an act to extend the certain COVID-19 measures until April 1st, 2022, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. So I am calling this to order, and we will begin with a Pledge of Allegiance, which is not on the agenda.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so I'll start off with committee announcements, and I'll start off with you, Ms. Wright.
I do not have anything, thank you.
Ms. Marshall?
I will just say that my son graduated from the 8th grade, and we went to the moving on ceremony last week, and it was lovely. I actually think I enjoyed it more outdoors and less formal than my other older child's that was inside, so I thought it went off perfect. So that's it.
Mr. Chantis?
Just a couple quick things. Sort of in the graduation theme, I was lucky enough to be able to attend the graduation, the high school graduation at Blocks Edge Field, and just wanted to say that the administration and Mr. Kohat did a great job. I think everybody was so glad that we were able to do it. It was outside, one ceremony. So just wanted to wish the graduates the best of luck and in all their future endeavors. Just the other thing, I know it's, I know we're a school committee, but someone passed this week who I think, everybody I think knew in one way or another was Valerie Forrester from Cindy's. Mm-hmm. And, as a very frequent customer of Cindy's and my family too, been going there since we moved here 10 years ago. Very, very sad to hear. So I know she was like a second mom. That's how I've heard her described to a lot of folks, that she was like a second mother here in Swampscott. So, and I know particularly the kids in the middle school would just walk down there a lot. So again, just wanted to extend, my sympathies, to her family in this time, this great difficulty for them. So thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks for remembering that. And you, Mr. Pastor?
Actually, just to ditto John's words about Valerie, and that's really it for me for tonight.
And I too got to attend the graduations, and I'm thrilled to see some of the good things that came out of COVID, including that, the way that both of those ceremonies were held. It was really a thrill to be on that turf field again after so many years not on it. So thank you to whoever made it happen in getting that specialized floor for it, because I think it made it really just a perfect day. And I have to say that the 3 valedictorians who spoke, if they are any indication of who our students are, I'm really proud to say that they are Swampscott kids. I was really, I couldn't help but notice how the tenor of those speeches changed. And this year was really focused on human connection and what we are all bringing to each other on a personal level. And I was, thrilled to, while these kids had such a rotten year, happy to see that they, appeared to persevere. So kudos to the whole class. And Superintendent?
Thank you. So I am thrilled to share with the committee that we have hired a human resources director. Ms. Tanya Shalop will begin on July 19th with us. Her primary office will be located in the business office at the middle school, where all of our central offices are located. But a reminder that this is a joint position with the general government. She is coming to us with experience as an HR director in another municipality, which is actually invaluable as she transitions to our position. Already having that knowledge of how general government works and a town works is really puts her ahead of the game. She understands the structure of the town, works with collective bargaining agreements, investigating employee issues, recruiting, screening, and onboarding employees. So we're really excited and very fortunate to have her coming on board, and we're really excited to have her join our team.
Yay.
Sigh of relief. The next items on the agenda are actually links under the superintendent's report that you're going to have to take a look at. I'm so proud of these documents and sharing them with the committee because for years we've talked about things that are being done, but we haven't really had a formal organized document. Now, I understand they're sideways, but I did flip them at some point, and I forget how I did it when I was on my computer.
If you download it, you can flip it.
Download it and flip it.
Yeah, download
Thank
it.
you.
You can do that.
There we go, flip, flip, flip. So this is something that our Director of Facilities, Max Casper, organized with Garrett Baker, and they sent out a memo earlier this spring with guidelines for what summer project work would be. No one has ever really defined that for our administrators, and they really gave them some guidance. And they created a Google Doc, and what's impressive about this Google Doc is that not only does it have the building name, the project description, the project type, the project manager, it also has the estimated cost and the contractors, so, and the funding source. So this is the level of detail that we've always strived for. This is the list of goals for this summer. I'm not going to read them to you, but every school is on here. It starts at the high school and goes to middle school, Clark School, Hadley School, and Stanley School. So I love that the tasks are assigned. I love that there's a dollar value attached to it. And I love that they already have a sense of who the vendors or contractors might be. I think this is something the committee has always asked for. Now, before the school year starts, or maybe in the fall, we'll bring Mr. Casper before the committee to give an update on what of these projects have been completed and where they stand. But this is a pretty comprehensive list. And the next document I'm going to share with you kind of goes hand in hand with this. It's a memo that Mr. Casper and Mr. Baker sent out to the custodians. And it's, number one, thanking them for the enormous amount of work they did. They really did shift on a dime and did anything we asked of them. But it was a list of responsibilities and reminders of things that should be happening. And I'm not going to read the introduction to you, but you know, we've heard Mr. Fitzgerald speak often about cleaning out the roof drains and maintaining our buildings that way. That is on this list, which will satisfy that need. But those little exhaust vents within the bathrooms in the buildings, now this is documented. If these things are not done, then people will be held accountable. And it's also, it's an accountability tool, but it's also a great list and checklist for our custodial staff when they're busy in the summer. What are some things that we need to do that we might not do annually? And I thought it was a very thoughtful memo, and I thought that list is pretty comprehensive. And so, again, I will have Mr. Casper come before the committee in the fall and report out on how the summer went.
Could we make this available on our website?
It will be available on the website through my superintendent's report.
Great.
It takes 24 hours when I blog it to show up on our website, and then those links will be live so that people can see it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Could I just say, Pam, this is great. I mean, this really, I think, from everyone's point of view, from the staff who's responsible, they have certain responsibilities, to just the overarching, goal of the school department, just to really know what's going on. I think it's great. Great job by everybody involved.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really proud of it. I've always felt like I've known what was happening, but there's never been anybody that has taken the time or had the time to organize it in this manner and then share it with everybody and communicate what the expectations are. So, well done for our facilities department. And then in my next item, I just updated you on DESE guidance, which is something I also sent out to families in my last communication last week. And I would like to highlight the first one, and it's about summer programs. So masking indoors and maintaining other health and safety guidance is not required, but encouraged. DESE summer guidance is in alignment with the state guidance encouraging unvaccinated individuals to continue to mask. The DPH mask advisory advises unvaccinated residents to continue wearing masks in indoor settings and when they can socially distance. So we have made the determination with Mrs. Raymond and Dr. Bacon that for the summer programs, masking will be optional. We in the buildings, there's so few of us in the buildings right now, and to my knowledge, everybody's been vaccinated and we've been socially distancing, so we are not wearing masks. My little italicized question here was, and Mrs. O'Connor and I just kind of spoke about it, I don't think we need to change the school committee policy because that was for the school year, and I think what is going to determine, just for the summer school, what is going to determine going forward in the fall will also be guidance, because I noted here from DESE for the fall, it looks like the safety guidance, including masks and physical distancing, will be lifted, but that could change. We've all heard about the Delta variant right now. They're saying that's taken over. There's debate about how much the Moderna and Pfizer work against that. So I leave it to you, Suzanne, and anyone else. We didn't prepare to change the policy, and summer school is beginning on July 6th. So I think we're okay. It was communicated with the families.
I think I'm comfortable. The policy is sort of more restrictive, but I think I'll make a call to Dorothy and just
Okay.
verify that there can be a different summer one, or yeah, I'll call her tomorrow and ask.
Yeah, if I recall, when we passed that policy, there was a date on it, like an end date, wasn't there?
Or
Yeah,
did
but
we just say when the pandemic ended? Did we just?
Yeah, it was not, it was like when the governor's order's been rescinded or whatever. It was like kind of general like that, but I mean, the policy doesn't speak to school year or summer school. It doesn't differentiate, so I don't know.
Right, that'd be a great question to ask.
Yeah, I'll just ask her.
Because if we're gonna have another meeting anyway, we could add that to the
Well,
agenda.
I mean, look, to be fair, here we are, all sitting here in the school unmasked.
Right. Right.
So,
I mean, I think, encouraging people that aren't vaccinated to continue to wear masks is a great idea, but we also, who's the mask police?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of it's a hard thing to, I don't know how we're gonna monitor that personally.
we can't.
One thing I neglected to put on my report is that Sunday I gave tours of Hadley School. From the farmer's market, they were corralling them over to Hadley, and they had been posted on the school building committee webpage, and tours were given at 10:30, 11, 11:30, 12, and 12:30. And I would say maybe 20 to 25 people showed up at varying times. Some brought their children, and this just prompted it because when we went into the building, I said, it's optional if you want to wear masks. Some people did, some didn't. Some were not were vaccinated and said, they were comfortable not. I thought they were pretty well attended for Father's Day, a beautiful Sunday, and it was nice to walk people through. I do think that people that may before the new school but hadn't really been in a building, it was kind of shocking to them. So I know we did them for a couple of weeks. I hope that we can do them again come August when people are back from vacations, but
I'd encourage anyone, honestly, that wants to see the building. I mean, they could certainly reach out to the building committee, and one of us could figure out with you how to give someone a tour, because I think they are, it's invaluable. I mean, and I know Mrs. Huntley gave them the week before you did, and she was able to speak to being a principal of both Hadley and Stanley, and people were just like, I mean, there's one lady just every other corner, she was like, oh my God, like, what? Like, I'm so glad I'm so glad my kid goes to school in Peabody. I can't believe my kid in Beverly, I can't believe his school is so much, like, she was just like, at every turn, and Mrs. Huntley kept saying, this is Hadley, but I'm telling you, I'm at Stanley now, and we see this same problem, and people were just like, you know, I heard it was bad, but.
Yeah, and I
It's really-
think there was an appreciation for the history in that building
Yeah.
and the items in that building, but what I heard as a repetitive theme was, these are great, and let's treasure them and save them, but this isn't sufficient for a school. So, I just, when you talked about the masks, some were masked, some were not masked.
Yeah.
It was very warm, it was a beautiful day, but people came out, and I was really happy to be there and be part of that.
Thank you for doing that, especially on a Sunday.
Yeah, it was, yeah. And I have one more thing, I think people understood, like, to this maintenance list, right? And things our custodial staff does during the summer and throughout the whole year. It's, you know, people got an understanding that this isn't about having clean buildings or windows that are, you know, need to be maintained. This is really a sort of a bigger thing. So I think, just to your whole point.
We did bring that up, actually, though, because everybody that walked into Hadley, not everybody, but most people were in awe of the hardwood floors and the
Right.
condition of the
It's
hardwood
beautiful.
floors. And so I took advantage of that moment to say, it's not about our maintenance. You can see how beautiful this is. It's about, they're looking up at the antiquated speaker system or the fuses that are circular that only Danny Cahill has in his garage. So, I mean, it was those things, but the hardwood floors, everybody said, oh, can we buy these for our houses,
right?
you know? So, I took advantage of that moment to say, it's not about the lack of maintenance of our buildings, it's about the age. So,
No,
It
it
was,
was great for you to do it on a Sunday.
it was good.
Appreciate
It was good. And shout out to Suzanne's daughter Emma, who was a trooper, and giving her own speeches about the
She's-
schools
oh, yeah.
and
Wow.
corralling everybody. It was great. The next item is a simple one, but it is the 21-22 school year calendar. There's a request to change the May early release date because it came early. It was listed on this calendar as May 11th, and typically it happens later in the month. So I believe the request is to change the May early release day to May 25th. In addition to that, we haven't in the past, we usually wait till the year's going and then we pick the kindergarten visitation day. And we just felt that if we were taking the opportunity to move that May early release day, we could also add in early release for kindergarten only on the first Thursday of June, June 2nd, because it's typically that same time anyway. So those are the two changes that are requested. I don't know that it needs a vote, I just know that it needs support, that we could go ahead and change that calendar and reissue that if it's okay with the school committee.
Well, let's just take a vote since we're all here. Sure. So I will entertain a motion to add an early release day for kindergarten on Thursday, June 2nd, and to
Move the May early release day?
move the May early release from May 5th to
May
May 11th.
No, from May 11th to May 25th?
Yeah.
Sorry, from May 11th to May 25th.
Thank you.
Could I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Does anybody want to discuss it?
I think you just, when you said early, kindergarten is visitation day, not early dismissal.
I'm sorry.
Right, so it was just kindergarten, it was this kindergarten visitation on June 2nd and early release on the 20th.
Yes, I'm sorry, it's not an early release. Kindergarten doesn't come on that day. I misspoke.
No, I just wanted
Right.
to make sure we clarified that, but, yeah.
I'm hoping Donna got that.
No,
So,
I'm psyched that,
Yeah, let's
put the
clarify this.
visitation date on there, because people are always starting to
always
ask,
asking, and it's
like,
always the first
Yeah,
Thursday
like, so what's the
of
big deal,
June.
put it on there.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so, all in favor? Say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes unanimously. I have to say, I'm a little bit rusty in terms of all being together.
I
And I
know.
know that I believe I don't have to do a roll call vote any longer, since we're all here. So if I didn't do that properly,
I
school,
think because we're in person,
could-
you don't have to.
yeah, so if I didn't do that properly, please school me.
And the final item I have is just the announcement of our new student representatives for next year. Will be joining us in the fall, Maggie Jensen and Maddie Deal. Maggie was a former student at Stanley. I look forward to having both these young ladies as student representatives on this committee. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Ms. Seibert.
We're gonna table this one for the agenda for right now. This
Okay.
one's still under review.
Okay. So that comes to me and my chair update. So I wanted to take a moment to read a letter that Superintendent Angelakis got from one of our middle school teachers, Mr. Tom Butler. I have been privy to some of the emails that he has sent over the years. He is, I think, always very skilled at letting the superintendent know what's working and what's not working, which is, really valuable. And so I wanted to take a minute to read this to you and read it to the public. As the last day of school year approaches, I'd like to invoke the story of Ernest Shackleton and the crew of the sailing ship Endurance, who were trapped for 10 months in the ice in the Antarctic. The expedition became icebound, and the ship was ultimately crushed by the burgeoning ice. But through Shackleton's leadership, all survived some of the most difficult conditions on Earth. There were many concerns and complaints during those perilous hours, but Shackleton never wavered or lost confidence. The escape from disaster still stands as a testament as one of the greatest rescues of all time, and it was because of Shackleton's unwavering leadership. Through these past 15 months or so, we've been on an expedition of sorts. An expedition filled with many hazards and uncharted waters and unexpected trials of all kinds. No one in the field of education has ever been on an adventure like this. This period of time truly is without precedence. But as we now come to the end, and as everything is returning to normalcy, I do still reflect on the many difficulties and stresses of the past year, and I want to thank you for your unwavering leadership through the stormy periods when the cacophony of anxious concerns was heard throughout our community. You always made sure that the ship of state was moving forward. You always made sure we had a plan and that we knew the plan. You made sure that we all had the tools to do things that few districts were able to do, like live Zooming and many other strategies. And you and all your team worked tirelessly and courageously to make sure we came through the dark hours, and we did. I just wanted to say that it didn't go unnoticed. Thomas Butler from the Middle School Technology and Engineering. No tears.
I know, it still makes me very
It's a
emotional.
beautiful letter. I think it's very apt, and, I think, I don't know what else needs to be said other than that. I think he said it perfectly.
To go in on the last day of school of the 2021 school year, open that up first thing in the morning, it was pretty emotional. I let my guard down when I read it, and I still get emotional. And I couldn't have done it without my team, so thank you.
I'm going to go straight to the school committee protocols. To my knowledge, there were no edits to this. Glenn, I'm not sure if this was something that you did in your previous.
Not this formal.
Okay. So this was something that I think we probably put into place about 5 or 6 years ago with the help of the Massachusetts Association of School Committees. And in fact, I know that recently Mrs. Karen was asked if she could share this out to another district because they liked it so much. I'm hoping that, I know I've read it many times, as has Ms. Marshall, as has Ms. Wright, and I think we signed it once when you came on board. So I just want to make sure that that you've had the opportunity to look at it. And if you have, that we vote to approve it.
Yeah,
And-
I thought it was great, by the way. It's great.
So for our audience, this is a document that is available on our website. It describes how we operate as a group, how we govern, how we treat each other, how we communicate, how we work to improve, importantly, the limits of our authority, and what to do when things go wrong. So I will take a vote to approve this, and then do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
So seconded by Mr. Jantis.
Yeah.
Anything to discuss?
Are we gonna stop by and sign it at some point? Is that like what we should do?
That is the plan.
Okay.
And just, we've also used this in the past to sort of evaluate ourselves. We've used it as a tool to go through and rank each one as how well we're doing them. So I think
We
it's
give
been
them-
useful in many ways.
Yeah, and we see if we agree, and the ones we don't agree on, we discuss. and try
Exactly.
to-
So I think we'll take a look at that when we meet in
Yeah,
August,
Mhm.
right?
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 I,
Vote is unanimous. I'm always proud when somebody from another district asks us for one of our documents.
Absolutely.
And with this, I am going to ask our bargaining subcommittee, our bargaining team, to bring us up to speed on the collective bargaining agreement with the SEA Educational Support Professionals. So that is the Swampscott Education Association,
Yes. The ESPs.
the ESPs.
Yes. Okay. So we have a tentative agreement to ratify tonight. We've worked through the past several months with the bargaining unit from the ESPs, and we have worked through many issues and come to an agreement that we bring to you tonight and that we are in favor of. I think once it's ratified, it will be made public and people will have access to it and they can read through it. But for tonight, we'll just go through sort of some high-level details for the sake of the public. And then we can ratify it. It is my understanding that the unit has already met and ratified on their end. So, just to go through it quickly, this was a one-year deal, and we specifically did that because we wanted to align the ESP contract with the teachers' contract, and that is because they are both part of the Swampscott Education Association, and we felt it made sense to have them on the same schedule and negotiating at the same time. So they're off cycle right now, so if we do a one-year deal, then next year, when the teacher's contract comes up, the ESPs will fold in as part of it, and it will be one negotiation, although they'll still have a separate contract, is my understanding. So it's a one-year deal. The one of the main items in this was the creation of a 7-step wage table. This will allow for known and consistent progression of new hires. So each step on the scale associates with 1 year of service. And there will also be one lane on this table to adjust pay for those who either have or acquire a DESE teaching certification. So all current ESPs who fall under the 7 years of service will be placed on the table at the appropriate place. And obviously, anybody who's over 7 years of service will fall outside of that. For those who are being placed on the scale, they will receive the appropriate new compensation that associates with that step. With that said, we gave a 2.7% cost of living adjustment for all members who are not on the table, which, since we do have a very experienced workforce in the ESP unit, many of them would fall off that table. So they will all get the 2.75% COLA. Also, in this contract, we gave the ESPs the ability to elect either a 22 or 26 pay cycle. And this will come with the necessity of submitting timesheets, which is something that they were not doing in the past, but as hourly employees is very important for us as a district to have. And let's see, also, they wanted the ability to attend building meetings and be compensated for that. So there will be new language in this contract which allows them to be included in those meetings and obviously put that on the timesheet, and then they'll be compensated appropriately. There are other small language changes in there, but those are the main points for this particular contract. Does anybody have any
Does
questions?
anybody else have any questions or comments?
No comments, just more of a clarification. Karen, you said 2.7 and then 2.75, but just to be clear.
Oh, I'm sorry, 2.75.
It is 2.75,
Yes,
right?
sorry, crazy. 2.75 cost of living for everybody not on the new wage table. I hope that makes sense for people. Martha, did you have anything to add?
I think you summarized it perfectly.
All right, so then I will entertain a motion to approve the collective bargaining agreement between the Swampscott School Committee and the SEA Educational Support Professionals.
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All right, then all in favor?
Aye.
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 The motion passes unanimously. Congratulations to Mr. Jantis and Ms. Marshall and Ms. Seibert and Ms.
Raymond.
Ms. Raymond, sorry.
The Marthas.
The Marthas.
The Martha.
On a drama-free and swift process. Impressive. And then whoever would like to speak about the collective bargaining agreement with our custodians. Is that you, Karen, or is that you, Mr. Jantis?
I think it's Karen, she has the
Okay.
document.
Okay, yeah, I have the document. So for the custodial unit, we agreed to a 3-year deal. And the cost of living adjustment will be 3%, 3%, and 3%, 3% each of those years. The get will be a timesheet and a move to bi-weekly pay periods. There will also be a one-time $1,000 payment to each member to assist in bridging the gap when you make the change from weekly to bi-weekly. We've been trying to get this for many, many cycles, and the sticking point has always been the fact that if you do make this move, you typically will end up with a week that's, it's not unpaid, but that you go without a paycheck until you can get on the new cycle. And so we felt it was important to make sure that the employees were able to make that change without, being harmed, so to speak. We also thought it was very important to add the facilities director language throughout the contract. It had not been updated since adding that position to the district, and so everywhere necessary, we included that along with superintendent and/or building principal where needed, so that obviously the facilities director can direct the work that needs to be done throughout the district. We also allowed for some educational reimbursement for members of the unit, and that is at a $1,500 per course cap with a $5,000 total cap per year for the entire unit, if that makes sense. And a couple of other things to note is we are allowing members to carry over 5 vacation days if they are unused, and they will not have to put in a special request for that. We will do that automatically. And also to increase the sick days that they are allowed to carry over to 30 sick days. And that is becoming standard across the other units. And that's about it, unless I'm forgetting anything.
No, I don't think so.
Okay?
It's awesome. It's
I know,
just great to get this done and feel good about it and have.
Yeah, and I
clapping.
I don't know if it's the year that we've had or the times that we're in, but I think people have been very collegial and wanting to work together and very reasonable, and so these were some of the more pleasant negotiations that we've had.
I want to say a special note of gratitude to our custodians. After working on Tuesdays at Hadley during lunch and seeing what those custodians are doing all day, every day, particularly during this pandemic, it was nonstop and very impressive. And then to see them at graduation, standing there making sure that everything was happening as it should on a Sunday in the middle of the day, was just impressive. So I want to say thank you to them. I will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor of the ratification of the collective bargaining agreement with our custodial employees, say aye.
Aye.
And that is approved unanimously. Again,
Congratulations.
Good job, everybody.
yeah, again, good job to Ms. Marshall, Mr. Jantis, Ms. Seibert, and I don't think Ms. Raymond was involved with that one.
Mr. Casper.
Mr.
Mr. Casper was on that.
Yes, note to Mr. Casper, our facilities director. And from there, we'll move on to our subcommittee and the school building committee update.
So I'm really pleased. It was a great day for Swampscott today, for sure. So I want to read the press release that we that the town and released into the news today. The Swampscott new twin elementary school is approved by the MSBA. The Massachusetts School Building Authority today approved Swampscott's proposed twin elementary school project, and based on increased cost caps approved by the MSBA board today, to allocate up to $34,350,000 in grant funding to Swampscott for the construction of the new elementary school. The new twin elementary school will serve kindergarten through 4th grade and replace 3 existing elementary schools in Swampscott, which schools have an average age of over 90 years, making Swampscott's elementary schools the 5th oldest of any town in Massachusetts. The proposed new twin elementary school will be located at the site of the current Stanley Elementary School and is the result of a multi-year community dialogue, including residents, educators, parents, and student input. The district-wide K-4 school building meets the broadest combination of educational vision priorities and addresses the needs of all our students, said Superintendent Pamela Angelakis. Any other choice would have resulted in many of our students continuing to learn in outdated and insufficient learning spaces for at least the next decade. I look forward to the day coming soon when all of our teachers and youngest students come together in a 21st century learning environment. I'm happy that the MSBA agrees that we could not just replace one elementary school while the rest of our elementary school kids stay in such old, outdated, and inadequate buildings, stated Suzanne Wright, chair of the school building committee and member of the Swampscott School Committee. I'm also excited for our amazing teachers who will finally have an elementary school building that fully supports their dedication to educating our kids. The new school requires approximately $64 million debt exclusion to be approved by Swampscott Town Meeting and by Swampscott voters. The Swampscott Select Board will meet next week to set a special town meeting for Monday, September 13th, and then later in October for a town-wide vote. The grant awarded to Swampscott today by the MSBA is even higher than we projected. There is extra good news in today's MSBA vote. This news, combined with the fact that the cost of Swampscott's proposed new elementary school is 5.5% below the average new school cost statewide over the past 2 years, is really good news for Swampscott taxpayers, said Sean Fitzgerald, the Swampscott Town Administrator. We have been financially preparing for this new school for the past 5 years. We have created historically high financial reserves, and we have ensured that the average single-family tax bill today is not higher than it was 4 years ago. This is a moment for Swampscott. Beginning last fall, the Swampscott Finance Committee, Capital Improvement Committee, and Select Board have held multiple joint public meetings to discuss ways to minimize the cost of the new twin elementary school. These discussions focused on the strategic use of financial reserves to minimize the impact of this project on Swampscott taxpayers. A strategic use of these reserves at this time can limit the cost of this project to not more than $1 per day for the median single-family taxpayer. At the June 14th joint session, Cinder McNerney, the longest-serving Finance Committee member, pointed to a Massachusetts town that recently borrowed money at 1.9% for 30 years. If one of the goals is to provide taxpayers with the least financial impact, it's almost like free money. It's pretty opportune right now with rates so low, said McInerney. Following approval by town meeting and Swampscott voters, construction will commence in the summer of 2022 and be completed in the summer of 24. And we will have our building, and we will have students learning equally, and we will have the best school in the state.
Wow.
It was fantastic. It was fantastic that the MSBA, decided this year to increase the construction cap and change some of the funding stuff. So we really were able to benefit from that good news, and the fact that we brought in this project at such a low cost really didn't penalize us for some of the other changes they made. So we made out really well as a district to be able to capitalize on their new initiatives. So that was awesome.
I'm pretty stunned. It was the first I've heard about the cost to build something like this coming in so significantly under what other towns are doing.
We worked really hard to not compromise any spaces or any programming, but to really think about making a practical building and I just to share our resources, and build, instead of building a gym twice the size because we're having two schools in one, it's 1.5 size, right? Because that's enough. We've determined that we can get all the classes in there, as many gym classes we have with that space. Like, structuring it is 3 gyms, and we just learned that, the materials are really important, and we want really durable, and we want really safe materials, but they don't have to be, the Taj Mahal of materials. Like, we are really building a really practical building, and we're thinking about, if you put the stairs on the outside of the building, it's more square footage. If you put it on the inside of the building, it's less square footage. We're just we did a really great job. A lot of people worked really hard together to look through all the different ways we can engineer this building and think about it. And it's paid off because we benefited from the rule change today at the MSBA in a very big way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so all good news. I mean, this building, there's no scenario where building a school will ever be cheaper for us as a town than it is right now. Fixing this 3-school problem will never be cheaper or less expensive.
Wow.
That's clear, right?
Yeah.
That is just clear.
Yeah, it's crystal. So anyway, thanks for letting
Exciting day.
me read that, because I'm just excited that
No,
it's
I'm glad
just
you read it like that,
Yeah.
because I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it's already hit the
so
press,
exciting.
so.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Well, thank you for sticking with it.
But I want to encourage people too that have questions. I know people have questions, and I know there'll be a yes and a no campaign and all this other stuff, but the school building committee representatives will be at the farmers market, and will do their best to answer questions in ways that show the information. Like trying really hard to show data and studies we've done and information we have.
Well, having an endorsement like Cinder McInerney's is pretty serious. I mean,
Yeah.
she's a tough customer.
COVID's been tough, in one regard, right? Supply and demand and whatever, but it's also, helped interest rates right now, and we have a moment,
Yes,
so all good. So thanks for indulging me.
thank you.
Thank you. We're going to move on to the consent agenda, which is designed to expedite the handling of routine and miscellaneous business of the district. The school committee can adopt the entire consent agenda with one motion. At the request of any committee member, any item can be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda for discussion. Tonight, we have 4 things. We have our regular session minutes from June 19th, 2021.
June
9th. Regular session minutes from June 9th of 2021. We have a donation.
This is 200 to 300 keyboards for our iPads. Essex Tech was going to Chromebooks, so we were able to have those 200 to 300 gently used keyboards, Bluetooth keyboards, donated to our district. Miss Mackie Knowles and Mr. Baker took the truck to Essex Tech the other day, and I got pictures of, they were afraid it was gonna rain, and they couldn't fit them all in there. Really excited by this donation, a very expensive donation, and we're lucky we can capitalize on it.
Well, thank you, Essex Tech.
Yes, absolutely.
We have another donation from the University of Michigan, the Survey Research Center, to the high school. And then we have warrant number 2150 and 2151. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I'll second.
All right, any questions? All right, all in favor? Aye.
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 The motion passes. I'm not going to hold public comment tonight because we are having issues with our Zoom. But I do want to take a minute, if you'll indulge me. I wasn't sure whether or not to say this under committee announcements or under my update. So over the weekend, I learned that our swim team was undefeated. And I was simultaneously thrilled and embarrassed. Embarrassed because I felt like I really, as a school committee member, should have known this. And it really bothered me to learn that not only did we have a team with an undefeated season, but in what many think of as the best season they've ever had. With some milestone wins against, I think Marblehead was one of them. And it made me really sad to think that would not be something that the athletic director would have brought to us. We spend a lot of time congratulating the hockey teams and the football teams. Those students have been here before us to celebrate, and it makes me sad. In addition, I want to congratulate Ashley Vieira, who is their coach. She was named by I think it was the Salem News as Coach of the Year.
Wow.
Another thing that I am embarrassed to say that we don't know. And then we had two students who were considered all-stars. One whose name I could not find because I had run out of clicks on the Salem News. My apologies to that young man, who I also understand has a scholarship to college. And then a young woman named, bear with me here, Elizabeth Dokina, who was also given an athletic award. In fact, there was an article in the Boston Herald about the best swimmers over the last 10 years, and one of our students made it. Like, this to me is sad, and I implore our athletic director to have some equity in what gets reported to us. I'm sure that there are other teams who've had great seasons like this that did not come before us. And I want to apologize to that, to our swim team this year. And
Young man is Matthew Brown.
Matthew Brown.
So,
Congratulations, Matthew Brown. Thank you. So I want to apologize to the swim team that we did not celebrate your victory the way it should have been celebrated. So,
Well, that's good information for me. I would recommend we bring all of those people before us. I know some kids are going off, but it's a conversation that needs to happen, that, we need to celebrate our kids no matter what sport they are. And so.
And not just sports.
Right, we want all the good news,
Yeah,
right?
we,
In this case, we're focusing on
Yeah,
sports,
yeah,
but we want to
we
celebrate
don't- we
robotics,
want-
we want to celebrate the fine arts, we want to celebrate the district kids, the all-state kids, all of those things, and we need to do a better job. I think, I'm not saying COVID's an excuse, because certainly we could have celebrated them on Zoom, and we will do better.
appreciate
That's a
that.
commitment from the district.
I appreciate that.
just one quick comment, just reading the Salem News article. Sam Kaplan, who's a sophomore, was also called up for freestyle and individual medley. I also want to agree. I think it's real important that the powers that be, call out positives, whether it's sports or otherwise, but in this case, especially sports. We do hear an awful lot about other sports, and I think it's important that, we share this with the community, because it's a big deal. It really is, to be part of something that ends up in the paper, and, the kids who are going to college with scholarship. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
So, congratulations to everybody.
Absolutely.
And Amy, if I can just add on to what
Please.
Glenn said, not just for the high school. I mean, if this is, as I know, eighth graders have won, major national competitions, and, just extend it beyond the high school.
We have to do better.
Yeah.
And hopefully, post-pandemic, we make a conscious effort to get those kids here. And
I'm really
recognize
excited
them.
to have Love of Learning back too,
Yep.
because that was such a great way to showcase our teachers and our students and things that are happening in the classroom that were just like things we should be celebrating all the time too.
And to remind us why we do what we
Yeah.
do.
I
Right.
totally agree.
100%.
Totally agree.
100%.
Yeah, that's gonna
You
be.
know,
And it shouldn't be up to them to come to us and toot their own horn, right? We should know,
Yeah.
we should be bringing them in.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I just I loved when we did that. It was always such a feel-good thing to just see like really cool things teachers were doing.
And it was great to start every school committee meeting with that, because we came in with
Right.
a renewed enthusiasm.
Focused
Right.
on the positive, right?
Well, yeah, because we had been saying, we had like a pledge at the beginning of our,
Yeah.
and we did away with that in favor of, for the love
Right.
of learning.
No, it was
And
Really.
I thought that was really impactful. So, so here I am again, this year talking about sports.
yeah,
Which you
is
never
the
thought.
irony of irony.
And with that, I will entertain, it is 8 o'clock, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Can I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, the motion passes unanimously.